Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Malinga Suse of Urban Harvest Organic Farm. For all of you who have subscribed to my YouTube channel, I am so grateful. And for those who are still new, please kindly consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. Today we are going to treat chronic respiratory disease in our birds because like 2 days ago I started hearing some few birds sneezing, and I decided to find out what was the cause, only to realize that the feeds that we are giving have started smelling. So last time I mixed 600 kilograms of feeds, and that was too much. It is now the third week, I think, when we are giving these birds these feeds, and I think because of my storage, I've realized that my room is a bit cold. And even actually when I did the packaging of the feeds, I didn't put them down on the floor. I decided to get some wood and put them on top. But still, the feeds have started having some smell, which is not good. Anything that you see that is not good for these birds, please let us try to avoid it. So actually what I decided to do yesterday was to pour the remaining feeds down on the ground and decided to turning it at least to allow fresh air to enter. So that one thing that I want us to know is that whenever you're going to mix the feeds, do not mix too much feeds that these birds cannot be able to finish. At least to mix the feeds for only like 2 weeks. But this time I mixed a lot of feeds. Actually I didn't I think that it would also get spoiled, because it is also my first time to mix too much feeds that would exceed 2 weeks. So in my own thinking, I didn't know that it would start having some bad smell. So when I started noticing some few birds sneezing, I discovered that the feeds had started smelling. The smell is not too much. Actually, it is even hard to realize that the smell is there. Okay, if you're not sensitive enough, you can't notice that the feeds are smelling. So when I started hearing a few birds sneezing, I decided to find out what was the problem. And remember, for the last 3 days we were giving only plain water. So that is why today I decided that we should start treating this chronic respiratory disease before it affects all the birds. And what we are going to do, we are going to change on those feeds. So immediately when something is not good for those birds, kindly change it immediately. We are remaining with something like 100 kilograms. So anyway, I really don't know what to do with these feeds now, because we are now left with almost 100 kilograms of feeds, which will take us like for the next 4 days. Okay, so I'm still deciding on what to do, but what we are supposed to do is to immediately start treating these birds before it is too late. The birds are still very active. They are still feeding. Even yesterday all the feeds got done the previous day, and today they are just yearning for feeds. We are going to even feed them together and see, but still you hear them sneezing. So we are going to give the 4 remedies that we all know. We are going to give garlic, we are going to give chili peppers, we are going to give turmeric, and we are going to give ginger. And we are going to do that for 7 consecutive days. And we are all going to monitor these birds if this disease will go away. Okay, because I still realize that some of you still do not believe that these herbs can work without the synthetic drugs. So that is what we are going to do. But this time the mixture is going to be a little bit stronger than before. Now let us go and prepare them before we give the birds feed. See you right back. So these are the 4 major herbs that we are going to use in the treatment of our chronic respiratory disease. And I want us to follow these birds and up to the 7th day, when we are the last day that we are going to give them these herbs, whether the sneezing has reduced. But one thing that I want us to know is that whenever you notice any problem like this, start treating it immediately. So with the any chronic respiratory disease, the sneezing, the coughing, the wheezing, the gasping, it normally by the starts with sneezing like that before it goes to coughing, it goes to wheezing, it goes to gasping. Start treating these birds immediately. And with these 4 major items, the turmeric, the ginger is right here, the chili peppers is right here, and the garlic is right here. So now some of you were asking, where can we purchase these things? If you're here in Kampala, you're going to buy them from a winner market. Okay, or Winner Market. Nakawa Market, I don't know. Kalerwe, you will hardly get turmeric, which they are selling in kilograms, and they are a bit expensive in Kalerwe Market. So I normally go to Winner Market and purchase them from there. But however, for those who have many number of birds, like in thousands, you can even purchase them in sacks. If you buy it a full sack, like a full sack of this, a full sack of this, it is even more cheaper. Okay, and a full carton of this, it is way very cheap. Okay, so please let us try to treat these birds as early as possible. Now I want us to follow these birds for the 7 days that we are going to give these herbs and really see if they are going to improve. It has not yet affected all the birds, but the few that are already sneezing, we want to eliminate it immediately, because if we are to relax like this, it will affect all the birds. And by the way, it normally starts with the sneezing, the coughing, just like I said. Then it escalates to other issues if it is not treated. So this is just to make you aware that whenever you're mixing the feeds, please, the storage should be perfectly well. And if it is cold, now like this time the weather is cold, it is also not so good to mix a lot of feeds that the birds will not be able to finish early enough. Actually, it has really taught me a lesson. I'll be only mixing feeds roughly for only 10 days, or at worst for only 14 days. Beyond that, because I've seen that my storage is not very good. That house where we are storing the feeds is a bit cold. The roof is down. It's very near to the ground, and if it is the weather is cold like this, those feeds can easily be contaminated, especially if the maize bran is a lot, because in this stage the maize bran is too much compared to other things. You have to wash it thoroughly well. And you have to make the mixture a little bit stronger. Now we are going to add here 1 kilogram of ginger, 1 kilogram of turmeric. We shall add these 4 bulbs of the garlic. Then we shall count like 100 pieces of these chili peppers, and we are going to mix it in the 100 liters of water. So we are going to now blend this, and then after blending it, we shall first leave it to rest as we are feeding the birds, and then we shall make sure that we make the birds thirsty for like 1 hour before we give them the drinking water, so that all the birds will run to drink the water, even those ones that are sneezing. So that is what we are going to do. So guys, these are the feeds that is now left. The one we mixed 600 kilograms last time, and remember we had added charcoal here. So yesterday we decided to change it down at around, I think it was at around 1 p.m. that we changed these feeds down. Someone advised me to pour everything down, and they were in different in different bags, but we decided to change them down. But we noticed that there was this one particular bag that we were giving the birds that had started changing in the smell. I really don't know why, but it got down. But this one, honestly, if you even smell it, the scent is, honestly, the scent is the same. So we still have all this left. That's why we are now going to leave it down here, at least for the fresh air to keep on entering on it, because I've realized that if you pack them in this bag, this is where I normally pack them. If you pack them inside here, okay, it gets also moist. Okay, so that's why we are going to leave it here, because it is still a lot of feeds. It is still a lot of feeds, and we cannot just pour it away. So we are going to leave it down like this as we keep giving to these birds. So the storage of your feeds is also very, very important. It can bring you issues. So like this is where I was putting the bags of feeds. This is where I put it, including this. So I don't ideally put them down on the floor. When I pack them in the bags, I put them up there. But I've realized that when it rains, this house also becomes cold. So I think it also caused that problem. So these are the feeds that we are left with, of which we can't throw it away. We are going to leave it down here as we treat our chronic respiratory disease. So let us now first feed the birds as we wait for our concoction. But then also I want them to stay thirsty for some bit longer before we give them that strong mixture. So the beauty is that the birds are still very active, they are feeding well, they are all running to feed, and that will make them drink the concoction that we shall give them. And actually, just like I said, we are not going to give them the drinking water immediately. We shall like take 1 hour after when they are finished feeding, and then we shall give them the feeds. And this is a big lesson to you. Whenever you realize any problem like this, whether with 1 bird or 2 birds, immediately take an action. That's why I told you that when I realized that a few of my birds were already starting to sneeze, I decided to immediately purchase these things and decided that today we are going to start treating them immediately. So that is what you're supposed to do. Just like yesterday I told you guys, with these birds, any slight mistake like this can make your birds to get some of these poultry diseases. Now that 1 bag of feed that was contaminated, okay, I don't even call it so contaminated. It was a very slight change, but the beauty is that now that we have changed all the feeds down, it is going to be able to get enough fresh air, and that will not continue. But that is not good. That still retards on our growth. If these birds get any slight problem like this, it can easily retard on their growth and development. So that is why you should be very careful as a farmer on the feeds you're giving these birds, the drinking water you're giving these birds, and how you're generally handling these birds. So now let them first have feed, then we shall later bring them the drinking water.
So I decided to leave them to be thirsty for 2 hours. You can see how they are all running for the drinking water. So for today, that is all I had for you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for always coming back. Thank you so much for all your wonderful love and support. But if you're still new, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. Click on the notification bell so that you never miss out any upload. Share this video, comment in the comment section down below, and I'll be so grateful. See you next time. I love you all. Bye-bye.